Hey there, movie fans. Welcome to a brand new episode of FYC from now until March 12th, 2023 for the 95th Academy Awards. We are going to be counting down all our best picks for all the best categories, and we're going to do them over and over again because we're going to change our minds, and that's the fun of it. So thank you for joining us on FYC. Joining me, as always, we have the amazing Perri, Nemiroff, and the mighty Jeff Snyder. And the category we are tackling today is lead actors. So Perri, overall, what is your take on the lead actor category? You feel like it's like too hard to choose, or do you feel like it's kind of slim pickings here?
Okay, to start this off on a positive note, happy Halloween weekend, everyone. It is the best weekend of the year, and that makes me feel great. I don't like this category, and I don't like my options in it.
Okay, that's a positive followed by a negative.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, there's a bunch of things that could wind up emerging throughout the season that I have yet to see. And I might get enthusiastic about that. But based on what I've seen and what I love for this category, that actually has the chance of getting a nomination. There's a lot of performances this year that I love that, you know, for whatever reason are not going to be in this conversation. But right now, I don't really have a whole lot that I'm really excited about, to be honest.
How about you, Jeff?
This one feels pretty locked up, but not like entirely. I think it's a two-horse race of two veteran actors who have great narratives this season. So, you know, we'll see if it'll be like a horse race and they jockey for a position all season. But I think that one kind of has a lead over the other.
I see it as a three-horse race, and traditionally in recent years, you know, leading up to the pandemic, you know, because the pandemic was, you know, a different thing entirely. I felt like lead actor was always the category that were just like there were way too many great performances to narrow it down to five, whereas lead actress was the one where you have three or four good performances, but like what's the fifth? Whereas this year, I feel like lead actress is the much, much stronger category, and lead actor is the weaker one. I have two or three sure things, followed by a couple of probablys, and then the honorable mentions could go anywhere. But there are a bunch of movies that the three of us still have yet to see, including one that came back into the Oscar race after being pushed into next year. And we'll get to that movie. I know you know what I'm talking about. At least Jeff does, judging by that smile. Perri, you'll get on it. But right now,
I do.
Okay, yes, I'm sure you do. Of course you do, Perri. All right, but so what is your top pick, Perri? What is your number one for lead actor?
This is the most obvious thing in the world, Brendan Fraser.
Yeah,
like he
exactly.
he is in a really good position right now. And, you know, as we see happen every year, there's always, you know, like some speed bumps to get over, especially when you come out the gate so early on in the season, this hot. But I don't know. I'm getting the feeling like he's going to go the distance with this one.
Yeah, well, right now, he's my number one as well. You know, he's like the Mickey Rourke. You know, once again working with Darren Aronofsky. You know, he directed Natalie Portman to a Best Actress win, and it's looking like Brendan Fraser is the one to beat at this point at the end of October on Halloween weekend. Jeff, what about you? Where is Brendan Fraser on your list?
He's certainly number one in my book. And I think that there's going to be a lot of like, people are going to be curious about this performance. They're going to hear about him and, you know, wearing all these prosthetics and makeup as a 600-pound guy. But to me, the performance is all in his eyes. You know, like he has these marvelously expressive eyes. He's terrific. But it's, you know, the movie is a little divisive. So that's the only pause that I put in, like, oh, he's got it in the bag.
Yeah. Well, I remember Black Swan being divisive too, but I mean, I love that film. But no, I think we all agree on Brendan Fraser being the number one.
I feel like if there were more other really, really, really strong contenders, I would be more concerned about that taking away from his chances. But given the pool that we're working with this year, I don't really think that's going to come into play enough.
We'll see.
For him, at least. For him, individually.
We'll talk about it in 1 second.
All right. So, Jeff, who's your number two pick?
So the reason that it gives me pause or whatever, it's all about the competition, right? So to me, the main competition is Colin Farrell for the Banshees of Inisherin. And the problem is that the Banshees of Inisherin is going to be a major awards player this year. People are loving that movie.
Yeah.
Right. And he also has After Yang bolstering his campaign and The Batman bolstering his campaign. So he's done 3 pretty good performances this year. I don't know if that body of work will give him a little bump up, or the fact that he's in a movie that everybody seems to like, The Banshees of Inisherin, if that gives him a little bit of a leg up, in the Best Actor race. Although I think Brendan Fraser, pound for pound, delivers a better performance.
Perri, what's your take on Colin Farrell and the Banshees?
He's my number 2, and at this point in time, he's the only one that I think has any sliver of a chance of actually winning this award. Otherwise, I haven't seen the movie yet. I just went to RSVP to a screening, and there was no availability until like December. So but the point being, that has to mean that people are prioritizing this, and whereas I might be saying like, well, are enough people going to see that compared to The Whale? Clearly, there is significant interest in that film as well. So I think he's got a chance, but I don't know. I'm still of the mentality that this one is done.
I'm not of the mentality that this one is done because, again, we still have some movies we still got to see. And when we get into the honorable mentions, I got a bunch of picks there of they could go either way and someone could totally come out of nowhere. I have Colin Farrell at my number 3. He's my number 3 pick. And my number 2 pick, I think it's a movie I like a little more than you. But as far as Colin Farrell is concerned, this will be his first nomination, which is actually pretty incredible that he's never been nominated before. But Jeff, like you pointed out, he has 3 strong performances this year. I don't think too many people saw After Yang, but a whole lot of people did see The Batman. So, and this is a completely different performance. Once again, working with Mark McDonough, who wrote and directed this movie, along with In Bruges, which reunites the 3 of these guys, along with Brendan Gleeson. It is a beloved film, and it is in select theaters now. So if you don't want to wait for a screening, you just go see it and write off the ticket and the popcorn and the parking and the soda.
Really quickly, do we think that, I know we don't want to get ahead of ourselves with Best Supporting Actor in that episode, but do we think that he could be a dual nominee?
Oh, well, possibly, maybe. Nah, Perri's shaking her head no.
Not thinking that. Yeah.
I was just throwing it out there.
Well, look, Batman came out in March, so that's the other problem, is that a lot of people, you know how the mindset is always like, well, it's always like what people saw most recently, and sometimes an earlier film sneaks in. Perri, you're shaking your head now.
I really want any campaign that the Batman team mounts to be focused on cinematography, because that's the nomination I really want to see make it from March till nomination time, because that's what I think is, pretty much a necessity. It's one of the most well-shot movies I've seen all year still to this day, and I have a feeling that's not going to change.
Okay, I just had to throw it out there. We can move on.
Okay, moving on. My number 2 was actually Austin Butler for Elvis. I know I like this movie more than you two did. The movie made 151 million domestic, 286 million worldwide. Sure, Austin Butler doesn't have the back catalog, the IMDb resume that Colin Farrell does, but that was just a spectacular performance. And a lot of people did see Elvis, and a lot of people really did like it. So, whereas Banshees, I think, is like 3 Billboards and In Bruges, where Guild members love it, Academy voters love it, but who outside that group is really going to see it? Whereas a lot of people really did love Elvis, and it's a great film, and Austin Butler totally crushed it. His performance is being compared to Rami Malek in Bohemian Rhapsody, but in this case, Austin Butler, did all his own stunts, so to speak. So there's that. Do either of you have Austin Butler in your top 5?
I am actually one of the few people apparently on this planet who has not seen Elvis yet. I swear I will circle back to it at some point. I have been thinking that Austin Butler is going to get bumped out of this race eventually, and I still think that there is a good chance that that's going to happen. But at this point in time, he's my number 4.
Okay. All right. He's on your list. Jeff, how about you?
I have him at number 3. Yeah,
Good.
I thought he was pretty terrific in Elvis, especially during those last 5 minutes. During the Unchained Melody bit. He is young, and it is tough for young male actors, I think, to get a leading actor nomination, and he absolutely could be bumped based on the late breaking movies this season. But for now, I think he's in there. I think he did enough.
I think he did more than enough. So Perry, if Austin Butler is your number 4, who's your number 3?
I have Bill Nighy there. And I've been hearing
Okay.
the best things about Living for it feels like a really long time. And that's another one that I need to prioritize actually watching. But I mean, that's one of those, I guess I would call it a smaller film, especially in comparison to the release something like an Elvis gets. But that's one of those ones that I could see wind up sneaking in there, especially like given who he is and his impact on this industry, and also just all the positivity that I've heard from his performance in that movie overall in general. So he's my number 3 right now.
Bill Nighy, I saw Living as part of Sundance, when it was virtual this year, and it is a career-defining performance for Bill Nighy. He sings in the film. It's a heartbreaking performance. Basically, Living is an English language sort of remake of Kurosawa's Ikaru. So if you know that film, then you know this movie. It's set in London in the 1950s. Jeff, is Bill Nighy on your top 5?
I totally understand that he has a ton of buzz right now, and everyone says he's fabulous. I haven't seen the film myself. I just don't know how many people are going to actually see it. I had trouble, putting him in my lineup. And I mean, that's Sony Classics, right? That movie?
Yes.
Isn't The Sun also Sony Classics?
Yes, it is.
I just I don't know, because a lot of people have Nighy and Hugh Jackman on their list, and I'm sure we'll talk about Hugh Jackman in a second, but you're telling me Sony Classics is going to get 2 nominees in this category? No way. I left Bill Nighy off.
I had Bill Nighy in my honorable mention, near the top of my honorable mention. But of course, like I say all the time here on FYC, our rankings could change in a heartbeat. The next time we come around and swing back to Best Actor, Perry and Jeff, you could change your minds. I could change my mind too, put him back in my top 5 or in my top 5. I want to see this movie again. I mean, it was like 10 months ago already. Perry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. What were you going to say?
I have absolutely no clue.
Okay, well, then let's move on. My pick for number 4 is a movie that I love to pieces. I just got the Blu-ray and I'm sleeping with it under my pillow. It is a movie that everybody loves this year. It is the movie that brought people back to theaters who have not been to movie theaters in a couple years. Yes, I am talking about Tom Cruise in Top Gun Maverick. Oh, Tom Cruise. I love this film. I think Tom Cruise is awesome in the movie. I think he's looking at potentially his 4th nomination as an actor after being nominated 3 prior times for Born on the 4th of July, for Jerry Maguire, and supporting actor for Magnolia. But with this year, Tom Cruise could see not just 1 nomination for lead actor, but also 2 nominations because he also produced the movie, and Top Gun is going to get nominated for Best Picture. So, Jeff, I think I kind of see where you're at with me on Tom Cruise and Top Gun Maverick.
He's my number 4, Tom Cruise.
Yes!
If they don't nominate Tom Cruise for this performance, what is the Academy doing? It's not all about crying and weeping and dramatic acting. This is a true movie star turn. He's absolutely magnetic. He's electric. You can't take your eyes off him on the screen. No one else could deliver a performance like this or get that movie to that gross. He's in.
He's in. Perry, is he in your list?
He is currently my number 5.
Yes. All right, Perry.
I'm curious to see if that holds. I'm a little surprised that I'm saying that and I have any confidence in that prediction, because back when Top Gun came out, I was one of the ones that said, this is an awesome movie. I love it. But it's not going to wind up being a Best Picture nominee. And look at where we are. It eventually hit the point where it felt like a definite thing. And at this point, I'd be shocked if it didn't get a Best Picture nomination. But given how skeptical I was about that nomination, the fact that I'm also saying there's a chance Tom Cruise is going to get a Best Actor nomination, my mind is kind of blown now. And I think there's a real chance that this could, even though I have Austin Butler a notch higher right now, I actually think that there might be a better chance that Tom Cruise could stick over him, in my mind, at least, how I'm playing this.
Absolutely agree with you on that, Perry. I mean, if it's between the two of them, I say Tom Cruise gets in over Austin Butler, even though I have Austin Butler at 2 and Tom Cruise at 4. But I mean, just on top of the fact that it's just a great movie, on top of the fact that Cruise just gives a fantastic performance, there has to be, and I know that most of this will go to the movie itself, but the fact that so many people went back to the movies who had not gone in 2 years. I mean, sure, you have superhero movies like Shang-Chi and the Batman and Spider-Man and even Eternals. And Doctor Strange, Thor, all these movies are superhero movies. People have been going to those movies now for more than a year, but it was Top Gun that changed the game, and Tom Cruise was really headstrong about waiting till the right time to release it in theaters, and it was the right thing to do, and it paid off in a very big way, literally and figuratively. Tom Cruise absolutely deserving of a nomination, as does the film. So, Perri, you said your number 5 is Tom Cruise. You already said your number 4 was Austin Butler. So, Jeff, who was your number 5?
Wait, what's Perry's 5th one?
Was Tom Cruise.
Yeah, Perri's 5th is Tom Cruise. Her 4th is Austin Butler.
So who are the? Is Nighy, Fraser, Farrell? Okay.
All right. So, Jeff, who's your number 5?
Okay. I'm picking the little guy. I'm picking the underdog this season.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Jeremy Pope coming out of nowhere to get a nomination for the inspection.
I've been hearing the best things, and I just signed up for a screening because of that.
I thought he was phenomenal in the movie. I think it's a great movie.
All right.
I just think that, this lineup needs some diversity too.
Sure,
and
absolutely.
There's obviously a big contender, lurking out there who I'm sure we'll talk about in a second. But I have a hard time imagining 5 white nominees for this. And I don't know. I just feel like he could be the ingenue this season.
Okay, fair enough. For people who have not seen that movie, Jeff, what is it about?
It is based on the director Elegance Bratton's experiences in the military. He's just a gay man in the military, and his mother is just a nightmare.
Wow. All right, Perri. All right. So 4 out of our 5 match up, even if the actual ranking does not. I do not have Jeremy Pope in my number 5. My number 5. I kind of went. I'm shooting for a 3-pointer here with this one because I know it might be a bit of a long shot, but I thought Adam Sandler in Hustle was fantastic, and Adam Sandler should have been nominated for Uncut Gems. I had to look back because I was surprised that he was not. But Jeff, you think that he's not? No way that's going to happen.
He didn't get it for Uncut Gems. Why would he get it for Hustle? I mean, he was really good in Hustle. I really did like that movie, but that's a Netflix basketball movie. He doesn't really have it.
There's also been no award season conversation. There's nothing that they've done to shape the conversation to push us in that particular direction. And I feel like if you didn't do that already, then it's no chance.
Well, I mean, I know he's been doing, the FYC Q&As and everything. Not that I did any of those, but
for the Globes, I think it's for the Globes.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, but I have Sandler in my number 5 right now. That's obviously going to change because we have to agree on it, and you don't agree on either one of those. So as far as honorable mentions go, Jeff, you were talking about how like the top 5, there needs to be diversity in there, and I think my number 1 honorable mention is a film that I absolutely loved, based on a true story. Opens November 23rd. It's called Devotion. And it is a true story about a U.S. Navy fighter pilots who risked their lives during the Korean War and become some of the Navy's most celebrated wingmen. It stars Jonathan Majors and Glenn Powell. Glenn Powell, who was riding high because of Top Gun Maverick, but Jonathan Majors in this film. If you haven't seen it yet, it is a fantastic movie. Very, very, very moving, a rousing, feel-good crowd pleaser. It's a mainstream film. Sony's releasing it on Thanksgiving weekend. Jonathan Majors, when you see this film, he is just absolutely magnificent and could sneak in with a Best Actor nomination.
I saw it in Toronto. I thought he was very good, but the movie was just like a very clear 2.5-star movie. That thing's not going anywhere this Thanksgiving.
Perri, did you see it?
Yeah. I didn't get to see it at TIFF, but I heard pretty good things, but nothing that would make me think that it could propel him into the conversation in terms of being a realistic option. The one that we haven't spoken about that I'm really rooting for is Timothy Chalamet, because Bones and All was very, very much my kind of movie. And I thought those two lead performances were beautiful. And if I could make it so Taylor Russell also got a nomination for her work, I'd be doing the same thing in that category. But Timothy Chalamet, admittedly, probably not going to crack the list, but I think his performance is deserving of it.
I haven't seen Bones and All. I can't wait to see it. It looks awesome. But okay, guys, let's talk about the elephant in the room. It is time.
Wait, no, it's not. Not yet, Jeff. I know where you're going. I'm
curious if this elephant is what I'm thinking.
I know where Jeff is going with this, Perri, but I'm not ready to bring the elephant out into the room just yet, because I just want to say, I'm gonna take Adam Sandler off my number 5. I'm gonna move Bill Nighy up. So the very worst case scenario, not that it's a worst case scenario, it's a poor choice of words, is that Bill Nighy is 2 votes. He's in the top 5, and we would have a list.
That's fine. That is 5 white nominees, though. Just
okay, I get it, and I hope that changes. But what about Hugh Jackman in The Son?
Haven't seen The Son. Heard it's very divisive. Heard some people think it's really good and he's excellent in it. Other people think this is a horrible movie. Why are we talking about it this award season? Haven't seen it myself.
Did you see
that's what I've heard, and I think the divisive response to that particular film is going to sink its chances across the board. I haven't had Hugh Jackman on my list since it premiered at TIFF, and he's not getting on my list from here on out, probably.
I literally just saw The Son last night. Literally just last night, and it is written and directed by
Florian Zeller.
Florian Zeller, who wrote and directed The Father and directed Anthony Hopkins to a not very big surprise one at the Academy Awards over the late Chadwick Boseman, who everyone thought was going to win, but that's a whole other story. But I think that Hugh Jackman is very good in the film. I don't think that The Son is nearly as good as The Father, which was a movie that makes you question your own sense of reality. It makes you feel the dementia that the Anthony Hopkins character is feeling. It doesn't have that level. I think it's a fine film. Not a great movie, but definitely a good one. And Hugh Jackman is very good in it. He could get nominated. He's in my honorable mention, but it is not a slam dunk. What about, and if this is a movie we have not seen.
Is this The Elephant in the Room?
No, not yet. We have not mentioned. Now, last week when we were doing lead actress, a lot of people were calling us out for not including Margot Robbie on lead actress. And I got to say, the reason we did not include Margot Robbie is because she's going for, as of now anyway, supporting actress.
I didn't know that.
But is that at this particular time when we're recording this episode? Because when we were recording the Best Actress episode, I know that was the case. Was that confirmed? Because since she has shifted on My Gold Derby.
Oh, well, okay. See, now this is really good that we're bringing this up because, yes, when we recorded lead actress, Margot Robbie was, I don't know, gunning for supporting actress, or certainly she was being positioned as supporting actress for Babylon. Maybe that has changed. I mean, I haven't seen anything written about that on any of the trade sites that Margot Robbie is officially going for lead actress. But
I think it has changed, because immediately when I saw those comments, I went to go look, and I'm like, why wouldn't I have considered her? And sure enough, all of a sudden she appeared on my Best Actress options.
Oh, well, then maybe she is going for Best Actress. But right now, is Brad Pitt going for Best Actor for Babylon? Jeff?
No, he's supporting. No, the lead is definitely Calva.
Okay, so how does Calva fare in this race, sight unseen?
Doesn't get a maybe from me until I see that performance.
Perri?
That trailer was
I think this might be a little bit of a difficult one to get behind without actually seeing the film.
Okay, yeah, I agree. I mean, we can't start banging that drum until we see it. And boy, do I want to see that movie. I mean, my gosh, I cannot wait to see Babylon.
I'm not hearing great things.
Oh no!
You're not. Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh, dude. All right. Well, hold that thought. Let's it's Damien Chazelle.
I get it. I know, Scott. I know.
You know how I feel about Damien Chazelle.
I want to see the movie myself.
I
just thought of someone who read the script and didn't come away that impressed. And the
Okay.
trailer didn't do it for me.
Jeff, I know you've been waiting to address the elephant in the room. So get on the podium. The floor is yours.
Guys, Will Smith. Will Smith in Emancipation. He's supposed to be excellent. I mean, it's all the buzz is obviously coming from people who have seen the film, and they've invited, a lot of black audiences and people who are friendly with Will Smith to see the movie. I get it. And I also understand with the slap and everything, like he could be penalized, right? No matter what, he's not going to the ceremony. Even if he gets nominated, he's not allowed to come. But it's all about, will the Academy, do they have it in them to just judge the art and separate the art from the artist? Because if that's the case, I think it's tough to leave Will Smith off your predictions at this point. The guy's the reigning Best Actor champ playing a runaway slave in a movie that, by all accounts, is really good. So what are we doing?
All right. So Perri, let's say you are an Academy member and you see Emancipation and you absolutely love Will Smith's performance. Do you nominate him?
It ain't best human.
So when Jeff mentioned separating the art and the artist, it made me think separating the art and literally anything else that winds up being a factor when you mark off who you want to nominate. And I think it's been proven quite significantly that it's all tied. No matter, it is rarely just about the art. So for that reason, I am not ready to include him on my list or in my honorable mentions.
All right, Jeff, how about you?
He's sixth for me. He's like right on the outside, ready to jump in if the movie is great.
You haven't even seen the film, and even with all this controversy,
I put him over Bill Nighy for sure. Sight unseen, absolutely.
Wow. See, I don't know. I think back to 2004 with Mel Gibson. And it took me a long time to separate. Like there are certain actors, I do separate the art from the artist. But, the Mel Gibson one, it took a long time for me to, not until I think 2016 with Hacksaw Ridge.
These are not the same things, Scott. That's anti-Semitism and having hate in your heart. This is a guy.
No. Well, yeah, it's different things, but it's still a situation where I had to separate. It was really, really hard. I'm just comparing having to separate the art from the artist. I am not comparing a Will Smith slap to an anti-Semitic rant, because believe me, I am still, horrified whenever that topic even comes up. But, when I saw Hacksaw Ridge, I was like, okay, it's a really good movie. And, I had to, after all that time, after 12 years, I was able to separate the art from the artist. But with Will Smith, I don't know. I don't know yet. I mean, I really can't. I don't know. It's a really, really, really loaded question. And I would love to know, everybody watching this episode of FYC, comment below and let us know what you think.
Comment below under the auspices of, this movie was amazing. You've all seen Emancipation. It was great, and Will Smith was great in it. Now, do you nominate him?
Right. That's the question. Comment below. Let us know. You see the film. You love the film. You think he gives a great performance. Perri, you got this look of pain on your face.
I'm so curious.
Like this whole idea I find very stressful. When it comes to separating the art from the artist, I find it difficult, if not impossible, to do it with certain individuals. And like the slap removed. I mean, like truly unforgivable behavior in this industry. And I think if we separate the art from the artist and what they've done in the real world in those respects and reward them for their art and their art alone, that is very problematic. Whereas I will separate the art and the artist when someone else delivers great work in something that is then tainted by someone else's bad behavior. That's when I can separate it. But again, a slap is different, I think, than what we are alluding to in terms of other issues. But I don't know if a year is enough for the Academy to get past what happened.
No such thing as unforgivable behavior in Hollywood. There's no such
but
thing.
But the point is there needs to be, and my hope, and maybe this is me just reaching for like silver linings and positivity and having hope that this industry can grow, is that more and more people will think that at a point with certain individuals, enough is enough. And that is a perfect way to start cutting them off, is to not reward them for their work that they shouldn't be able to do anyway.
Yeah, look, if the movie is great and everyone else in the film is great and it's a well-written, well-directed movie, do you honor Antoine Fuqua? Do you honor some of the other actors in the film? Do you honor the cinematographer? And just not honor Will Smith? I mean, do you sort of go around him and honor everybody else? This is a really loaded question. I mean, look, when Roman Polanski won Best Director for The Pianist back in 2002, I mean, that was shocking at its time. And now, in the last couple of years, all the controversy surrounding Woody Allen has made me not want to rewatch his movies, even though I love Match Point and Blue Jasmine. I mean, it's a really, really loaded question.
I think we're talking about two very different things in some of the examples that have been brought up, and Will Smith and what he did. So I don't know. It's probably important to emphasize that they're very completely different scenarios.
I want to reiterate, like I said earlier in this conversation, I am not comparing what Will Smith did to what Mel Gibson did. I'm not saying they are the same thing. But what I am saying is, when it comes down to the bottom line, is separating the art from the artist. That's what I am talking about. By no chance am I comparing Will Smith to Roman Polanski, to Woody Allen, to Mel Gibson. I'm just talking about separating the art from the artist. Is it maybe it's just too soon? I mean, it just happened. We're talking about, 4 or 5 months since the slap happened.
This movie, everyone is going to want to see this movie. You think everyone's going to see The Inspection? You think everyone's going to see Living? I don't think so.
I think people are going to be curious.
What you're saying is literally showing how this industry can't separate the art from the artist. They're like, if you're insinuating that there's going to be a bigger drive to see emancipation because of what Will Smith did, then that answers the previous question.
I don't even know if there will be a bigger push to see emancipation because of what Smith did. That might be an aversion. People might be like, I'm not watching this movie.
You think that there will be those people who say,
I don't. I mean, look, do I think there will be people who won't watch the film because of the slap? Sure. Do I think there will be people who will watch the film and like the film and still not vote for Will Smith because of the slap? Absolutely. There will be people who won't vote for him, but there will be people who will. And the question is, what do you do? What do you do? That's the question for people watching FYC. What do you do if you're a voter and you love the film and you love him? Do you vote for him? If yes, why? If not, why not? Comment below. I'm sure that's going to lead to a very interesting comments list.
I would say is I would hope so. I think that we should be rewarding the best 5 performances of the year and not, who behaved this year. But I get that there are factors, like Perri said.
Yeah, I'll disagree with that as like a blanket broad statement.
Well, while you're commenting below, before you write your comments, make sure you subscribe to Perri's YouTube channel because that would be the perfect time to do it because you're so riled up. You can't wait to comment. So make sure you hit subscribe if you have not already subscribed to Perri's YouTube channel. And so for the time being, our top 5 are Brendan Fraser for The Whale, Austin Butler for Elvis, Colin Farrell for The Banshees of Inisherin, Tom Cruise for Top Gun Maverick, and Bill Nighy for Living. As I always say, those could change in the coming weeks when we come back to revisit our lead actor category. Right now, make sure you share FYC on all your social media platforms so people can watch the best, the most exciting, the most fun, the most detailed award season show in award season. And until the next time on FYC, see you later.